Hello, welcome to Inside the Sherman Playhouse. Haven't seen you guys in a while. You haven't seen us in a while, and but when we get a good, talented person from the professional world of theater that works at our playhouse, we want to sit down and talk to her today. So today we're talking to Krispy Kreho. Krispy as in Kristen, but still Krispy to us. It goes by that name. Do we have a history of that name?
Oh gosh. Had it since I was 14. It's a long story.
Long story. All right, we won't get into it. Crispy has been doing some set painting for us for the last 4 or 5 shows, and I had a conversation with her recently about what she does for real work, and she's been doing some professional set work for a professional company for a while. Has switched around a few times. We all kind of run into the same type of people, even though this is a non-equity house. So I wanted to get some information. We like to have people from the theater of all different backgrounds and all different, behind the set, on the set, actors, musicians, anything that is performance-based, and that have crossed our boards. As you can see, she's painted our boards. We are on the set of our next production of Life with Father. And kind of took a break to talk. So tell me, you were interested in graphic design when you were in high school?
Yeah, when I was in high school.
And then tell us how you came into the theater world.
So I was doing graphic design in high school, and I also took some art classes, and I was really good with painting. And one of my friends said, "Hey, you're really good with mixing paints, and you're creative. You thought about joining stage crew?" And I was like, "I don't even know what that is." So they brought me in, and I joined. I had fun my first year, and then they asked me to come back another year, the next year, and they asked if I would be a stage manager as well as in charge of paint. And I was like, all right, this is fun. This is cool. And then my junior year, end of junior year, when I was looking into colleges, I was like, all right, I'm going to go into graphic design. But then someone said, but you're so good at this. Why don't you do this for a living? And I said, well, you could do this for a living? Never really thinking about it. And they were like, how do you think Broadway is made? Oh, yeah, okay. So I was just like, I have a lot more fun with theater, and I really like the people that I worked with. So I said, all right, I'll give it a chance. So I went to Central Connecticut State University.
Oh, why'd you pick that?
It was just one of, why did I pick
Central.
theater? Central, got it, okay. It just felt right. It was one of those, I went to a couple different colleges, and, I visited their campuses and stuff, but when I went to Central, it just instantly felt like home. It felt good. I met with the head of the department. He gave me showed me around the whole theater, and then he said, well, you get accepted into the school, you're accepted into the program right away. I was like, well, that's really cool. And I got to work hands-on. Like my freshman year, first production they had there, and I said, I want to get involved. They said, all right, you can be a board operator. That was it. And I worked on every production my whole undergrad.
Yeah, you don't have to tell us every production, but give us a couple. Like varying ones.
There was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. We did the musical Wild Party. There was Speed the Plow, which was recently on Broadway a couple years ago. That was a good show. House of Blue Leaves, Waiting for Lefty, Chicago.
And we were having this conversation about your favorite in college. Waiting for Lefty stuck out, and tell us why. Because we don't see that show a lot, and we all have to read it when we go to drama school, and we're like, wow, this is really, really deep into that period of time. Is that part of the reason?
I like Odette's writing style, just because I think it's probably because historically it was right there. We lived in that time. It was completely real, and it's still kind of relevant to today, and you can totally relate to it. Words.
That's why you have a paintbrush.
Yes.
So did you paint the set for that?
No, I assisted design and props for that. I was very props heavy in college. I took painting class. I took scenic painting 1 and 2 in college, and I had fun with it, but I focused mostly on props.
Did you like props?
Props are fun, yeah.
That's good, because somebody's got to.
Well, I was able to build a lot of stuff in college.
Okay, so the building of
The
props
building of it was
really
fun.
Cool.
I like being hands-on.
Yeah. Okay, so graduate college, and what does
Graduated.
Krispy have to do with her life?
Graduated college. I did some small overhire works here and there. I did one show over at the Sherman Playhouse out in the Mystic area.
And just give us for the novices, even me, I don't remember. Are you working on some professional point system, or just as many professional shows as you can do? Do they hire out people that just graduated college or that are in college for
It
it?
is so hard to get hired right out of college because it depends on what you want to do. If you want to do summer stock, they'll pretty much, you have to go to a certain place, show what you've been able to do. Having a portfolio is the most helpful thing ever. But confidence is most of what it is. It's mostly confidence. Like, if you can sell yourself, then you're pretty good.
Well, see, Iverton is one of the best in Connecticut. How did you get that gig? Sold yourself.
Yeah, I sold myself. That, and
Where's your
I
confidence?
also found a listing online, and I just emailed and I said, hey, I'd love to, you need some extra paint hands, I could do it. And they said, great, come and help us with the producers.
So you did the producers and one of the paint hands.
I assisted with the paint there. And then from there, I went up to Kreho, New York. I put my portfolio and my resume on, it used to be called BackstageJobs.com. I don't know what it's called anymore now. But they found me and they said, we would love to have you come up and work at our theater. And I said, that's great. That's up by Albany and Troy. I can't afford to move right now. They said, no. It's in your we'll give you a contract. So basically they gave me an apartment right next to the theater. I worked there and everything.
Name of the theater?
Kreho's Music Hall. I think it closed down a couple years ago, but it's a beautiful old vaudeville theater. I was very lucky to work there. I worked with some of the most talented people I ever met in my life. 2 of my best friends now I met there. And
Equity actors?
nope.
Oh, wow.
The actors were from all over. Some came up from New York City that were equity. There were some that were just in the area that...
So they could mix and match.
They mix and match.
Wow.
I think they had a contract. I'm not too good with
Right,
the
it's
actor
regional
side of
theater,
life.
yeah.
It's regional theater. So they have a
right.
contract that says they can have so many equity and
Right.
so many non-equity. Tech-wise, we're no union or anything, no equity.
Right.
So.
So when you get to one of these gigs, do you I'm going to stay at Kreho's for as long as I can, or do you have to keep moving?
Well, I was in contract with them. I signed a contract for that particular place saying I would be there for the season, which ran, the shows ran September through May? Fall through the spring.
Mm-hmm.
That was their theater program.
Right.
We worked on some...
It's like a college year.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked there. I was the scenic artist there and also a carpenter. So I did both.
And how many shows was there in that season?
8 or 10,
Wow.
somewhere in there. It was intense.
Wow.
We would do a show. It would go for a couple weeks. Fast turnover, like within 48 hours, we had to take down the set that just ended. So we would go
Right.
strike the set and then put up the next one. We would at least start loading it the next day. It was was a very intense job.
Right. A playhouse like this and others around it, we can only get away with 5 because we want to give 4 weekends to the show. So they only gave 2 weekends per show.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. But they did weekday shows as well because with a regional theater, they can get away with that.
Nice. Okay, so after that, where do we go?
Oh, from Kreho's, I went to Sherman Playhouse Theater. I worked there for a summer as the assistant scenic artist. We worked on some really lovely shows there. It was a great summer stock. That's the only summer stock I ever worked in, which for most people, they would have worked in at least 5 or 6.
Right.
But that's the only one I ever worked in, so I'm lucky for that, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was a great summer. The most amazing set that we did was we did The Sound of Music. And we did the iconic rolling hills backdrop and everything. Oh my gosh. It was me, one other girl, and our assistant that helped on it I think we painted that drop on the floor for a solid week at least.
Wow.
It was intense.
Wow. Some people may not know what summer stock is. Give us a small definition.
Summer stock is a very intense. It is just for about 2 months long, and you try to shove in a ton of work that happens all at once. I think we did 5 shows that summer in 2 months. So maybe it was 2.5. It was a lot, and it's a lot of hard work. We try to put on full productions, like full sets.
One stage.
One stage. Very intense.
Is it outside?
No, this one, Sherman Playhouse, so the theater is a barn.
Right.
But the scene shop is the porch in the back.
Gotcha.
So,
Yep.
So there were times we would be taking set pieces from the porch and we were going into the lawn and painting them. And we were like, is it going to rain tonight? Do we have to cover it? Can we leave it uncovered? What's going to happen?
Right.
So that was... Right. Thunderstorms were interesting to work through.
Yeah.
There were a lot that summer. A lot.
Right. So what's beckoning you is a full-time job, I'm assuming, trying to get in, doing what you did for college.
Yes. I'm working at a scene shop in Bridgeport now full-time, Global Scenic Services, and I've been there for about 3 years now. Now, full-time, when you work in a shop, full-time means more like you're there for about 10 months a year. Because we work on a show, there's a lot of us, and then once it gets slower, it's not like a theater where you can do some maintenance here or there, you can clean lights, you can do this or that. In the shop, you build things. So with the shop, the designer gets the drawings in, our draftsmen take the drawings, they break them down for carpenters, which is what I mostly do at the shop. I'm mostly a carpenter. They'll break it down, have us build it, we'll have the painters paint it, they'll come, they'll check it out in the shop, and it's a giant shop, We'll put together most of a set or a whole set. They'll come, check it out, say, yeah, this looks great. Or, no, change this. We'll do that, and take it all apart, bubble wrap it, put it on a truck, and ship it off to wherever it is.
So you don't see the end result unless you go to the show.
I mean, I kind of see the end result, but not quite,
not in the performance.
I don't know. That's the one thing I miss about not working in a theater is seeing the final look, everything, with lights on it and everything. But I could always...
Now these Broadway houses they're selling to? And
some are Broadway, there's off-Broadway, there's runway shows we've done, window displays. I worked on 2 Broadway shows. Only one of them really made... Rocky on Broadway. It ran for probably about half the amount of time that we built it.
Okay.
But it was still a really awesome, impressive show.
Awesome. So any other professional movie sets or anything like that?
No, not movie sets. We don't really do any movie stuff. We've done Frozen for Disneyland out in California, and also we've done a couple cruise ship sets too.
And how about so when you are what's the history of the organization? Has that gone back a few decades, or do you know when they started?
The shop?
Yeah.
Oh, I think the shop.
It's in Bridgeport, right?
Yes, it's in Bridgeport. I'm not 100% sure of the real history of it. From what I know is that it was, I believe it was purchased 8 years ago from the previous owner, and it was Atlas Scenic Services. And that was a itty-bitty little shop, like probably about the size of this theater. Mm-hmm. And then Warren, who purchased it, he just kept adding on. He had big plans, and here we are we're in a giant it's like 2 warehouses put together. It came from this itty bitty little place and just has kept growing.
Oh, good.
So
that's awesome. So, how did you come here? We have Al in the audience. You may want to point to him.
Hi, buddy. I randomly met Al through a friend at his then girlfriend's birthday party, her 30th birthday. And they were like, oh, this is Al. He does theater stuff. You'd like him. He's weird. I was like, oh, all right, cool.
Really?
I'll go talk to this dude. Okay. And then he got into telling me about the Playhouse here. And I was like, all right, well, I'll come check it out. Okay, sure. And unfortunately, the first production that I was recruited for, I ended up not being able to work on. But I said, call me back. I'd love to work with you.
So the first one was Rainmaker.
No, the first one I was asked to work on was Aladdin.
Right, Aladdin, but the first one.
But the first one I actually worked on was Rainmaker.
Rainmaker, right? And then we were talking about it. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier. Started doing floor painting, which a lot of theaters, the equity theaters, the Broadway theaters, have always done it. But the smaller theaters were getting into it a little bit more, and Krispy's amazing at that stuff. But we threw something at you for the radio show, which was what?
Oh, this giant diamond floor, like a checkerboard floor.
Right.
And I was like, sure, how bad could that be? It's just a bunch of straight lines that intersect. That was the pain in the butt thing, keeping those lines straight.
Right.
But it looked fine.
Yeah, it looked great. And it was funny, our photographer, Josh, came in, he's like, I don't know if this is going to come out in pictures. And it was just gorgeous. It was gorgeous, because they're not used to the
floors
the
being
floor,
done.
and they're radiant.
Yeah.
I mean, and of course the lighting is fantastic against them too. We did a nice wood floor, and what's great about coming in watching Krispy work is like, that looks great, and she won't say to you, well, it's not done yet. She just says thank you.
Thanks.
And then the next day is like, there's more. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's more. And then
Just you wait. There's more.
There's a method to the madness, and so that's good stuff. The stuff that's around here, she did as well, and it's good. Do you like to work from photos, especially of houses, of interiors?
Photos help. I
Yeah.
hate. Okay, I can't say I hate, but I have worked with designers per se that will be, oh hey. So I'm thinking I want something like this with that color and this. Oh, okay, cool. Can you draw it out for me? No. Okay, can you get me research pictures? Sure. 3 weeks go by and I never get pictures. All right, I guess I'm going to just make it up however I want then.
Right.
You tell me it's wrong, I'm sorry.
Right. The other show she worked on was Tartuffe, which was the same pattern but in diamond form, right? The same black and white.
I think it was the same. It was this. Did I do? I don't remember. Yes, it was black and white tiles.
Black and white tiles,
I know that was diagonal. I don't remember if the radio show was also. Was it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. It was the same. Don't confuse me.
I remember it being the same. Yeah. So, what's the difference? Is there a difference between this community theater and another equity house or off Broadway or?
I feel much more laid back with the community theater.
Okay. Do you feel that you can be more artistic or?
Yeah, I feel. Well. There's the difference is that with like the shops or theater or paid theaters and stuff is that they have a hired designer, and this designer has this specific idea and plans. But here is working with the director's ideas, and if they get me research images, that's great. And it's working with the director, so I feel like I have more play, and I don't feel as, I don't think restricted is the right word, but that's what's coming to mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I have to do exactly just this. This is what has to happen.
Right.
If I'm around that realm where it looks similar,
right.
It's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to me and hanging out, and we're almost done with the whole set, and Life with Father opens up this December, and it looks already beautiful with our lighting and our set design and our costumes, and all of it is complement. We had a conversation about this. Everything is complementing each other. Everything is on a one great level, and that's due to your expertise, Al's expertise, Terry Hawley's expertise. So Tech Theater rocks. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.